What's up, guys? Welcome back to my shop. I'm Justin Davis. Today we're going to do something fun. We're going to go outside. We're going to take this Axial Capra 1.9 and we're going to do some digital FPV with it. And I say digital FPV if you're new to FPV. FPV has two versions currently, analog and now DJI digital. Digital systems are a little more expensive than your analog version, so if you watch this video and you're interested in FPV but you're on a budget, I'll put an analog link down below for a cost-effective analog FPV setup for your rock crawler. If you want to go full out and spend $500 plus for the HD system, you can do that also. I'll put those links down below for both different types of FPV system. But today, it's just awesome. I let some of my friends experience this as well, and I spent hours doing this a couple days ago with Axial Capra, a very capable rock crawler, doing some of the digital HD FPV. It's just so addicting, and it's a different angle and twist on rock crawling. I love line of sight rock crawling, but this is just like sitting there in the driver's seat and driving your rock crawlers. Camera position is pretty important. You want to have it pretty high above the top of the car with a downward position so that you can see the front end and the angles of your front tires. The biggest handicap about FPV rock crawling is that you can't see your back tires if you're up against a flat spot on a rock. So it makes it pretty challenging. That's one thing that you're going to have to navigate through the rocks. And I think the experience of it is just too much fun. So I'm going to let this video play out. We're going to edit some of these clips a little bit shorter so it doesn't go on forever, but this is going to be one of those videos that if you like rock crawling, you got to share this with your friends because this is a unique perspective and it is absolutely awesome. Here we go, guys. Let's do some crawling in digital HD FPV. So I'm just going to briefly comment on some of this rock crawling that we're going to do today. There's a whole bunch of guys out. There's probably over 10 trucks out today. It's sunny and beautiful, and whenever it's nice out like this, you can always expect a lot of people out on the weekends, especially over at the Elk Island place that we do some crawls. There are some competitions out here as well from some of the local hobby shops like RC Hobbies, and today it's all about just having some fun and enjoying the experience of rock crawling from an FPV perspective. For me, all the other guys today are doing line of sight rock crawling, and the nice thing about line of sight, as I mentioned before, is that you can see your front and your back wheels. You can spot your lines more directly from above. But when you're rock crawling FPV, it's a little more challenging because, like I said, you can't see the back wheels, and you can get those flat spots on the back wheel on a rock, and really makes it difficult. So if you're in a line like this is kind of nice because you can see that one guy in front of you chose a really difficult line and didn't make it through, so you can kind of choose another one and just maybe go around, pick a different route. But from the FPV perspective, it's a lot harder to see the lines because you don't have that bird's eye view like the other guys do. But I also found that it's challenging because it's hard to see your axis and your varying pitch of degrees that your vehicle might be one way or the other. If you tilt too far one way, you're going to flip over or the other. So judging how steep something is can be kind of difficult from an FPV perspective. But we just go slow and we take it a few steps at a time here through the different turns and curves and elevation changes, and finding those crevices with your tires, articulating your tires to get through certain spots. And what's amazing about rock crawlers is that they will go through spots that you think they won't, and then they prove you wrong. They actually do get through it. So it's always surprising to me to what they can actually climb over, and people that walk by and stop to check it out are also kind of amazed that these little RC cars can do what they can do. They are quite powerful even at slow speeds. They have a lot of torque, and all the trucks and cars made by Axial seem to do pretty well. A lot of them have metal gears and transmissions, and it's pretty important that you choose a crawler, I think, that can handle some rough, ultra rough terrain like Oregon, rocks. If you come out here with a cheap crawler, you're going to end up probably not leaving with a crawler that still works. You'll have stripped gears. Sometimes you go in with 4-wheel drive and you come out with 2-wheel drive because the gears in a cheaper crawler just can't handle this type of terrain. The vertical, the amount of pressure put on the gears will just strip out the plastic gears. So if you're looking to do some rock crawling like this, on this type of level and scale, you definitely want to invest a little more money in what you're buying. A lot of guys, if you're not doing super rough terrain, you're just kind of, you know, doing some type of trail 4x4ing, you don't really have to worry about it as much as if you're not doing so much vertical stuff. But this Axial Capra 1.9 has been serving me well now for over a couple weeks. It's holding up. I've taken it out to various different locations, some harder than this, way harder than this, and it's always come home still working. So in comparison to some of my friends' Axials that are a little bit on the cheaper spectrum side of things, the cheaper cost, they've done replacement parts, they've done upgrades, and the cool news about the Capra 1.9 is I'm still running this one completely stock. And some of the other guys out there that have been into rock crawling way longer than I have, they have brass upgrades on the insides of their wheels, they have wheel weights, they have all kinds of actually very specific upgrades. And if you get into rock crawling, trust me, you're going to start out around the $200 to $300 level, maybe $400 level for a ready to run crawler, and then you're going to start upgrading things, and before you know it, you've got $1,000 crawler or more. I know some guys that have $1,500 into theirs in the first couple months they got started, which is kind of crazy, but it happens because the first thing people seem to want to do is just upgrade everything. But I'm trying my best not to go brass everything right now and just kind of drive this crawler as is from Axial and see what it can just get away with. And so far I'm really happy with the purchase. It was around the $450 price point, but one of the more expensive ones, but I feel it's fairly justified because as I've seen a lot of people purchasing tons and tons of upgrades, they spent $300 to $350 to get in, and then, you know, $300 later worth of upgrades, they've exceeded the cost of a Capra 1.9. So the Capra 1.9 is not like a truck body style, but it is kind of its own genre there with the panels, which I kind of like. I like the way it looks. But then again, like quads and drones, I like them all. Airplanes, quads, gliders, crawlers, even bashers, whatever. I'm into it if it's RC. If it moves, I like to be able to control it. But I'll tell you what, guys, I think that you're going to enjoy this footage because there's not a lot of really super clear footage like this out there that's FPV footage. This is recorded from the goggles, and one comment that I gotta let you guys know: if you're going to do digital FPV, you're gonna buy this setup, make sure that you've got your antennas exposed quite well. Use a TPU bracket on your camera that completely covers it on the top. Don't worry about looks so much, but go for durability. Use some Gorilla Tape over the top of it, and it'll be fairly waterproof and extremely durable, because you gotta think your FPV system has to take a rock punch, so that's pretty hardcore. And the TPU mount covering the entire camera and having it elevated up there with the Gorilla Tape on it seems like a crude setup, but it is very durable and tough. And make sure that your video transmitter is underneath the frame somewhere and away from water, because this transmitter is not waterproof. One tumble in the water and that transmitter is going to be toast. They're around $100 for this transmitter, so the camera's around, I believe, around $60. I'll try to put all the links down for each analog and digital down below, so you guys can do your own setup the way you want to. If you do a setup, please let me know as well and post it in our Drone Camps Facebook group. We have Drone Camps FPV community forum on Facebook, and I think there's about 500 guys in there right now, so you can share your setup with us, and that would be awesome. It is sort of an epic new new era for me and a new interest in the hobby in RC. So I'm happy to be able to make more videos and rock crawling coming up on the channel, different reviews, maybe some build tutorials coming up. We have some new stuff coming from Axial, which is really awesome. But this is extremely addicting and challenging and fun and just different than flying FPV race quads. But just as much fun for me. I love it. And it also gets you outdoors. And during all this coronavirus stuff too, guys, you can find yourself in less populated areas with less people around. You can kind of go out and get away from people, but still be outside, which is nice. So all you guys be safe out there during this pandemic that we have going on, and I hope to see you out rock crawling somewhere sometime. We'll keep our distance, but we'll have some fun, of course. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys just enjoy the rest of this video. If you like rock crawling, just sit back and enjoy some different perspective and a really amazing HD perspective. Just totally awesome. But thanks again for watching my channel, guys. I'm Justin Davis. Enjoy the rest of the video, guys. I'll see you on the next one.